Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is Sunbelt Commissioner Keith Gill, and I listen to the Funbelt Podcast.
This is the Funbelt Podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Hosts to Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Howlraiser, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sunbelts.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating.
Guys, welcome back to the show. Man, you guys are looking great, fit, rested. It's almost like you guys have been working out or eating well. I mean, maybe you took a Clinton vow of not eating fast food or giving up some alcohol or something to that effect. Guys, explain why you guys look so good.
Well, I haven't done any of those things that you just mentioned.
I turned on a camera so you can actually see me.
I got haircut, so I feel pretty good about myself. Guys, welcome back to the show. You know, it's kind of exciting in the Sun Belt. We just completed the track and field competition, the indoors, and my Arkansas State Red Wolves swept it for the 5th straight year, the men and the women. Congratulations to my Red Wolves. Way to go, Coach Matt Vining. That's a program that is just doing really well at Arkansas State. We can.
Is that better, though, Jeremy?
Yeah, okay.
Than Arkansas State baseball getting a weekend opening sweep over the mighty Omaha?
Oh, God, don't make me care about Arkansas State baseball. I don't want to care. I've been hurt so many times, but let me tell you this.
3-0.
They're 4-0. They just won 10-0 against UAPB. That's the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So 4-0. They're trying to drag me back in, Dusty. Dusty, I saw that ULM beat Grambling, or at least was beating Grambling the last time I checked.
Run rolled. Send them back to the G-Town.
Well done. And Shane, I could not help but to notice that James Madison, although they went only one for, what was it? They won 1 out of 4 games, but it was against number 3 University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. Always a tough place to pick up a game. Congratulations to James Madison for that. I'm sure that had Arkansas fans gritting their teeth, which I always enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, when JMU went down there, I think everybody was saying, "Hey, if they get one, call it a good series." Then
yeah, they did. They put out the graphic with the bacon and everything, and it was nice. It was good. Good for you guys. Everybody else, I feel like I saw that the Cajuns they were beating up on Louisiana Tech. I think I saw that today.
McNeese State, but
was it McNeese State? Maybe it's a softball team that might be playing.
Softball beat Louisiana Tech, which is always a great day.
That's what I was looking at, and then I saw that Georgia State got obliterated by Georgia today, but you know that might be a thing. BetOnline, which is my favorite betting platform, continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. We need to talk about Georgia State, by the way, Dusty. Can we talk about Georgia State for just a little bit?
What happened to Georgia State?
If you don't have a head coach, you're not on our radar, Jeremy.
No head coach. They elevate the strength coach. It's an interim head coach. Somebody try to explain to me, well, he's with the players all the time at this time of the season. I'm like, yeah, but don't they have an OC, a DC? If I'm like the defensive coordinator and I find out that the interim head coach is the strength coach, I'm a little irritated with that. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. I'm not there for that. Seems a little weird. Saw that the NCAA granted them some kind of waiver saying they can push back their spring.
Just like in the COVID era, we are now paused at Georgia State.
Pause. They are paused. They are in a state of pause. It's just
a little weird.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but I mean, all they're going to do until they bring in a new coach is lift weights and run. So you might as well let the guy do it.
I don't know. It just seems like just for internal politics, you would have named one of those the OC or the DC special teams coach, runnings back coach, any coach that was there. I don't know, but yeah, Sean Clark, from what I understand, guys, has family in what is it? Not Conway, South Carolina. Columbia, yes. Has family in Columbia. Has been traveling back and forth there ever since he became head coach at Georgia State. Finally got an opportunity to go back. Okay, it's just wild timing.
But he also implied that another reason that he was willing to kind of give up the head coaching post, well, I think family's probably the 80% of it. That other 20%, he definitely strongly implied that it's not a fair fight for these G5 schools with the NIL, the transfer portal, that every time you have a decent player, somebody's dangling a carrot in front of them and they're leaving your program. I mean, you look at Marcus Carroll that is now at Missouri. You have the receiver, Robert Lewis, who's now at Auburn. It's just time and time again that we're seeing the P5 snatch up the G5 because they can pay a little bit better and give them a little bit better exposure than what they get in the G5. And I agree with Sean Elliott, mostly because he's bigger than us and he'll roid rage and come after us. But I feel like he has a legitimate complaint that it's almost time to wave the white flag. That the G5 cannot compete with the P5, especially when it comes to this wide open NIL that we're all facing.
Well, Yahoo Sports did a really actually a depressing as hell write-up that I think it might include Sean Clark. It did include several Sunbelt coaches, and they all pretty much said the same thing. Listen, we're fighting an uphill battle here. You get a guy who plays well as a freshman. We don't expect to keep him any more than another year because he's going to be gone. And that is what that has done is it's regulated the G5 and the Sun Belt as sort of a farm system. Now, the article went on to say, hey, it's not just, the G5 that finds themselves poached. Look at Washington, for instance. They get to the college football playoff game, the ultimate banana. And now they're just decimated, right? So I guess it's not just the group of five, but for the most part, it's the group of five being picked on.
I'm actually getting a little sick of hearing the coaches use this as an excuse. I mean, there are coaches at G5 programs who figure it out and they figure out how to use the portal to their advantage. And
yeah, Google him. He knows how to win, Shane.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an example. But not everybody who goes to these Power 5 programs ends up playing as much as they think they should. And some of them transfer down. I mean, it goes both ways. And, for the most part, I mean, we did see Jamie Chadwell kind of making these comments and stuff, but for the most part, the ones who are complaining about this are not the ones who are winning their leagues and are not the ones who, the Sun Belt had plenty of Power 5 upsets once again. And those aren't necessarily the coaches that are making these complaints. I kind of feel like, football, basketball, everything else, the ones who can figure it out are the ones who are going to win, and the ones who don't are either going to get fired or they're going to move on to other jobs.
Shane, I hear what you're saying about the whining because, it does sound like sour grapes, or not sour grapes. It sounds like throwing the white flag. I get that. Oh, no, I got to deal with a new system. Boo-hoo. I think I'll take a coordinator's job at the SEC. I get that. I do. But I will say this about one comment you made about it works both ways. The stars are the ones that leave the G5, the stars of the G5. Mm-hmm. The ones we get from the Power 5s are the malcontents. They are the guys that are upset, are angry, are not getting their playing time. They feel like they've been in unjust moments. And they could be talented players, but you're not seeing the star quarterback from Alabama transferring to Georgia Southern. It's just not happening. But you will find that vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's fair to say that they're all malcontents, though. I mean, it's just we've kind of gotten to an era where everybody knows there's an opportunity to play somewhere, and if you're the third string quarterback behind two potential all conference guys, you can move on, and you might be a really good kid, and you might be a really good player, and we've seen two guys. System makes such a huge difference for so many players. Like, I don't know if that's always like makes you a malcontent if you just see that yourself thriving under a different coach. And I mean, I just think they're guys. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, we saw Texas State have a good success with a guy who was in that situation. I don't, we can talk again about what they did after that, but I think there is an opportunity for coaches who really want to get into it and really want to like do their research, dig into the guys who are in the portal. I think there's opportunities for G5 coaches to do it. It's just harder and it's more work and it's a different type of game than maybe they wanted to get into when they started coaching, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I think that Yahoo article had said something. I think it was Will Hall from Southern Miss that they spoke at length about, and he was talking about he felt like he wasn't doing any coaching. Like 90% of his job now was reassuring the fan base or soliciting donations from boosters or that kind of thing. I don't know if that's true or not, but that might be across the board. I mean, that's why maybe you get a guy like Nick Saban retiring, or maybe that's why you get some of these guys that are leaving for the NFL.
But at the same time, Will Hall talks about things like that, but how devastating would it have been if Frank Gore Jr. goes to Mississippi State, goes to Ole Miss, Auburn, Alabama, wherever, that's still kind of within that region? It's going to make him look bad that he can't raise the funds. He can't do the same things as these P5s, even though there's a lot deeper pockets at Ole Miss than there are at Southern Miss. I hate to say that, but it's true. There's a lot more money going on there in Oxford.
But he did keep Frank Gore around until he was ready to go to the NFL. And where's he been getting his quarterbacks from? I mean,
Yeah, but have those quarterbacks worked out?
No, not necessarily. But I mean,
Frank Gore was the quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Well, all right. So, I mean, I get kind of what you're saying is that quarterback to me that is sort of a interesting. I don't know if it's a difference, but because quarterback, there's only one position that a quarterback can play, and that is quarterback, and there's only one on the team. The transfer portal to me makes a lot more sense for them. But for some of these other guys, wide receivers, offensive linemen, cornerbacks, whatever that you're going to have out there, it does feel like who's ever going to pay me the most, bring me on. If I'm going to be third string, that's fine. But I get a condo, I get a car, I get $100K or whatever. Why would I want to have anything less at a G5? I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of hard to parse what is true and what's just a gripe.
I think different people have different priorities, and it goes for coaches, it goes for players, it goes for the president of the school, what they want to do with their athletic departments. And I think you'll see probably over time, people find the place that meets their priorities. And if it's I want to make $100,000 and have a free apartment, or if it's, I want to be the starting quarterback or starting safety or whatever. I mean, or if I want to be a head coach, or I just want to make the same amount of money and not have the same responsibilities, the G5s are going to have to find the guys that fit where they're at. And I think they exist, but I think it's going to be a bigger challenge to find the right guys now.
Speaking of the right guys. Oh, this is a horrible segue.
Go for
Well,
it.
you know what? I was going to talk about basketball, Dusty, but maybe we should bring in our guest instead. I don't know, Dusty. What do you think? Dusty, you're the leader of the group. Tell us what we should do next.
Well, it's a guy that very well could be in this conversation of having a phenomenal freshman year, and if he can do it again in the sophomore year,
would he stay?
Is somebody going to dangle that carrot in front of him?
No.
And he'll be leaving Jonesboro for the greener pastures of maybe Fayetteville, maybe Memphis,
sure,
maybe Knoxville. Who knows?
Yeah, could be anywhere. We've got a guest today. He doesn't need any introduction, but I'm going to give him some introduction anyway. Tibbs. He is the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year. He came in as a starter for the Arkansas State Red Wolves. I believe it was the third game of the season.
Fourth.
Was it third or fourth?
Fourth. Okay.
It was Stony Brook.
Nah, I didn't start Stony Brook.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay. I'll get that corrected.
Yeah.
That's awesome for a super fan like Jeremy to know all these factual
I don't
details.
know any facts. You're lucky I didn't call you Jason. 17 touchdowns through the air, 5 on the ground. Again, the freshman player of the year for the Sun Belt, Jaylen Raynor of Arkansas State. Jaylen, welcome to the show. What have you been doing in the off season?
I appreciate you for having me, but really just grinding in the weight room, trying to get bigger, faster, stronger, and then of course attacking in the classroom.
So you started the season. There's 2 guys ahead of you. Did you anticipate that at some point in the 2023 season you would end up in the huddle?
I prepared to be able to take the role, but I wasn't sure, but just preparing like I was going to be the starter every day. So, yeah.
So you had a great high school career in North Carolina, did a lot of great things. You come to Arkansas State, come to Jonesboro, you get thrust into the starting lineup. You're the starting quarterback now. How is the high school game different from the college game?
Definitely just the speed of the game and the knowledge, the knowledge separation from it's a big step from high school to college, just knowing the ins and outs of the defenses, the ins and outs of every play on offense, what each player has to do. So I'll say definitely the speed of the game and just the amount of knowledge you have to have every play and the focus that it takes.
I was watching your game against Southern Miss, and you took off running down the middle. The play had broken up. I don't know if it was a design play or not. You ran up the middle, and Jay Stanley, the outstanding safety for Southern Miss, comes up to greet you, and you laid a lick on him. You knocked him on his butt. What did Butch Jones think about that?
It was definitely more of Coach Heck, I would say, my quarterback coach. He was just letting me know, like, endurance and durability. That's like one of his sayings, like, your best weapon is to be available. So
you're in the huddle for the first time. I know that you've been studying the game, getting ready for that week 4 appearance. You know the playbook. When the offensive coordinator or whoever brings in the play, they relay it in, do you kind of go, oh, geez, I have no idea what that means? Or were you prepared and you were like, yeah, let's go, man, we're doing this?
Yeah, definitely. I was prepared. I would say me coming early last January instead of coming in the summer when most freshmen do, I feel like that gave me a big jump and head start to be comfortable to where I was able to lead the team.
Yeah,
you go out on top.
Hey, before you go in on that, I do have a question about you coming in during the spring. That spring game, Jaylen, how old were you?
18.
Okay, I thought maybe you were still 17 at that time, which I thought was completely insane and nuts.
Yeah.
Go on, Tibbs. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. So we all know you had the great freshman year, freshman of the year. You beat ULM, of course. I was there in tears, interviewing you post game. But what do you do to kind of take that next step for next year? Or do you even kind of have maybe that fear in the back of your mind of like, oh man, everyone talks about the sophomore slump. Am I going to fall into it or am I going to keep propelling myself forward?
Definitely it's a big focus on the mental part of my game. Just being able to be like a CEO quarterback, knowing the ins and outs of the whole entire playbook and being able to solve problems on the fly just like that. So I feel like just improving the mental game, being mentally stronger, and then, of course, putting it together in the weight room as well, and just becoming more and more connected with my teammates.
Speaking of your teammates, was there a veteran on the team, somebody that sort of you relied on to sort of show you the ropes and get you focused on the games? Was there somebody in particular?
Definitely the quarterback room as a whole, we were super tight knit. Jackson Daly, JT Stroud, William Pritchard, we were all super tight, and we helped each other, and we competed every day to get each other better and make ourselves better. So we all helped each other, and I'm very appreciative to them.
Richard, that's his real hair color, right?
Yeah, that is for sure.
He's a flaming redhead. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Another question I had for you was for the 2023 season. Can you tell me what was your most disappointing game and what was your most exciting game?
Most disappointing. That's a few games I'm very disappointed in, but I guess I would say the bowl game. I'm gonna put two: the bowl game and Coastal for sure.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was a good game in Coastal, but yeah, it slipped away, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Was he offsides in the bowl game? Was he offsides?
Was he offsides? No, he wasn't.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go get some referees after that one.
But how many times did you watch the play going, maybe?
Nah, he wasn't.
No, there was no maybe, too.
No, it wasn't. No maybe.
I know there wasn't.
Egregious error that people should have been arrested for that.
So upcoming, obviously this year, the sophomore year, more importantly than anything you get to do on the field, come July, we all get to be Jaylen Raynor as quarterback in the new NCAA football game.
Oh,
how
wow.
exciting is that you made it. You're going to be in electronic history for forever and ever.
That's super crazy. I just saw the official teaser this morning, and I was like, shoot, finally. But it's just like, I don't know. It's crazy to think about. I used to play the NCAA 14 and 13 all the time on the Xbox, so it's very cool.
Now, we talked to the guys that run the Arkansas State video game. Oh, gosh, what's it called, Tibbs? Not the
e-gaming.
Esports. The esports guys. And they want to challenge you guys to some of that. Are you up for that?
Of course. Always.
They challenged Butch Jones, too. So you need to get Butch out there, too.
Yeah, I got to get him on Madden, practice a little bit.
So the practice starts in a couple weeks. I think the spring game is the 20th. You had a great season. You're freshman of the year. Everybody knows you got game. But are there elements to your game that you want to make improvements on heading into the season?
Definitely, like I said, the mental part. But just little things with my throwing mechanics, just being more consistent with my footwork, and just a lot of little details. But I'm always working to improve those every day.
Did you guys take it too far against Texas State?
Nah. Foot on the gas pedal.
Oh, so next year you open up with Central Arkansas, which is an
Sugar Bears.
Yeah, the Purple Bears, in-state antagonist to us. And then you open up, and then you spend the next week in Michigan against the national champions. Is that even on your mind right now?
No, right now it's just getting better each day, focusing on the team ourselves.
So you also had one of the better recruiting. Arkansas State had one of the better recruiting. Again, Arkansas State's always good with the recruiting, especially the last 3 years. Jaylen, have you seen some of the new guys come in yet, and have you welcomed them aboard?
Definitely. I think everybody that's came since January, they fit in pretty good. They're getting used to everything, so it's just like they were already here from the start, so we're rolling.
Now, is it weightlifting season? Is everybody in the gym right now?
Yes, definitely.
How's that atmosphere? Is it just as competitive in the weight room as it is on the gridiron, or is it more of a support group in the weight room?
I would say it's a mixture of both. Actually, today we had max speed and velocity day, and then we had like max vertical day, so it was super electric. Everybody was hyped up, so it was a lot of fun.
When you look coming up, the NFL Combine, what's the better event that you think about? Is it the offensive lineman shuttle run or the offensive lineman 40-yard dash?
I'd say 40 for sure.
When is the offensive lineman going to run 40 yards? And if so, it's a bad day on the field, right?
Yeah, that was probably a turnover or something.
I saw Jacob Bear run a 40 yards to help somebody into the end zone last year. So that I feel like Jacob. By the way, Jacob Bear, as he cut that mullet off.
Nah, it's flowing even more now.
Is that where he gets his power?
I think so.
All right, great. So this year, do you have predictions for what Jaylen Raynor numbers might look like?
Really, just trying to get to the conference championship. That's my main goal.
Is there anybody in the NFL that you look at and go, "That's my game right there. That's who I
am"? Just like a complete comparison. I'm not sure, to be honest, but I take a little bit from a lot of people's games. I like Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, of course, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. It's a lot of great quarterbacks in the league right now. So it's a good time to watch quarterbacks.
Well, Mahomes is great, but I think you deliver harder hits than Patrick Mahomes. That guy, he slides, man. He knows how to protect himself.
Yeah, he does.
Lower the shoulder. I think he made a lot of friends in the stands when he did that.
You look around the league this year, we all thought coming into the season it was going to be Texas State in the West, but with that whole shakeup of their roster, it might be Jonesboro that's seeing the eyes of that top spot in the Sun Belt West. Do y'all kind of look at that and say, we finally made it and now we got to go out and prove it? Or is it that we still got to prove ourselves to get there and show everybody that we should be number one?
I think it's more of proving it to ourselves each and every day, just coming in to work, but also just knowing that we're kind of building on last year. We're more mature. We got a lot of returners. So I think just being that more mature team, building off what we had from last year and having momentum, we'll do what we got to do.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot because you got to be friends with everybody on the offense and on the defense, but especially guys around you. Who do you see having a big season this year? Besides Jaylen Raynor, we know he's going to have.
I feel like it's going to be a monster year for everyone, to be honest, but definitely just the way the running backs work in the weight room, speed work, everything, and then the receivers. I don't know. Everybody, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's hard to point a certain person out.
See, I was trying to get you in trouble, and you worked your way right out of that. It was like you avoided the rush and you completed the pass. Well done. So Butch Jones, how is he these days? Is he relaxed? Is he comfortable?
Yeah, he's great. He says February is probably his favorite month without without recruiting and stuff. So he's good.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Is he really a fiend when it comes to limiting your bread intake? Because he seems like a guy who kind of hovers around guys when they're at the buffet, and he's like, "You don't want those breadsticks. Maybe stick with the lean protein."
He had to sometimes when we were at the bowl site with a few of the O linemen. So, but he's not too bad.
Did you guys have a good time at the bowl game?
Yeah, it was super fun. Just wish we could have finished it out the right way.
Let me ask you this: was it weird playing in the morning like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because it was a little strange. It was like, man,
it was kind of warm though to be in December.
Yeah, it was kind of warm, but it was a beautiful day. It was nice, but yeah, I had to take off the old sweatshirt, and then I got really heated at the end. I don't want to bring that up again, but yeah, you had a good game. That was a lot of fun. It's just for funs and giggles. But this year's for all the marbles, Jaylen. It's time to. I think a lot of people have high expectations for Arkansas State. Does that put any pressure on you at all, or do you just put your head down and do what you can do?
Like I said, I just try to focus on getting better every day. Not really worried about all the media and all the everything. Just focusing on the team right now.
First time through the league, what was your favorite place to travel to and your least favorite?
Favorite place. Okay. Let me think a little bit. All right, my least favorite, probably Monroe. We drove that game. We drove that game too, so we was all on the bus, legs hurting and stuff. Favorite place to travel to? I would say Probably Oklahoma, even though it didn't turn out good at all. Just the atmosphere and being like to see how that is. It was a good experience.
Yeah, Butch Jones talks about that game a lot. He
Mhm.
brings it up at press conferences. He'll talk about how the score was disproportionate,
Mhm.
how the team didn't respond. What was the team's attitude after that game? It really could have been despondent. How was it?
I think that game definitely brought us together even more than people realize. Like after that game, as soon as we got off the bus from the plane, we went straight to the weight room, had a team lift and everything. And I feel like that game kind of brought us together and kind of shaped who we were going to be for the rest of the season.
Okay, now I'm expecting you guys to beat Michigan, so you don't have to respond to that. But that is my expectation
Yeah.
as an Arkansas State fan. So you guys go ahead and make that game plan. I'm
Gotcha.
going to put the W next to the game, and that's where it's going to be.
So,
Tibbs, you got any more questions for the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year?
I don't. He's off the hot seat.
Thank you, Jaylen. We really do appreciate you being on the show. I know you got a lot better things to do, but which includes getting in that weight room and getting stronger and quicker. We will see you. I know I will see you at the spring game. So see
Yes,
you
sir.
see you around.
I appreciate y'all.
Now that we talked to the reigning freshman of the year, we shift gears back to basketball, where, guys, I told you that the Raging Cajuns, even though people on the X, people in our DMs, people in our email box don't believe it, the Raging Cajuns sit in 4th place right now, which gives them the double bye in Pensacola. Now, don't get me wrong, App State and Troy are still sitting atop. App State at the top, Troy tied for second with James Madison, a team that I legit thought was going to be out of the running, but they've kind of resurfaced. But I'm telling you, watch the Cajuns there. And also, Old Dominion's going to play spoiler to somebody late in the year.
First of all, I've been on that bandwagon with you with the Cajuns. I saw them in person play at Arkansas State. Those guys are really good with Continga in the middle and the guys on the outside making shots. Kobe, what's his name? Suddenly forget his name. Just doing the outside magic. He is awesome. I think that I was a little disappointed, Dusty, that they could not close escrow against Appalachian State in Boone. I know it's hard to finish it.
It's that Boone magic.
I know. And they were winning. They were looking good. I think even the coach for who's our coach for the Cajuns?
Bobby Marlin.
Bobby. He was talking big at halftime. He was like, "Yeah, we played in tougher places before. This is no big deal." And then, of course, it happened.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue probably with Louisiana when it comes to maybe picking them as, I don't know if finishing 4th even makes you a dark horse, but we'll probably get to that in a couple weeks making our picks. But that's probably my biggest concern about picking them as, one of those outside of the top 3 picks to win the Sun Belt is they've played the best teams in the league and they haven't finished those games. They've been close games, but they're games where they looked like they were in control for a while and then they end up losing. And I think that's probably my biggest question mark about Louisiana right now is they've done it against Troy. They've done it against JMU. They've done it against App now on the road where it really looked like for the majority of that game, they were going to get a big time win in Boone and then just didn't finish it.
But we've seen that time and time again, that it's that Boone magic. Everybody has that great opening 10 minutes, that great first half, maybe even the great 30 minutes of it. But there's something about Dustin Kearns and his team that they turn on the afterburners and hand out L's.
Oh no!
But I'm saying Louisiana did sort of the same thing at home against JMU, and they lost a close game against Troy. They're just not finishing against the teams that are as talented as them.
Yeah, Shay, I agree with that. That they do seem to lack that killer mentality at the end. Still, they're in that 4th spot. In my opinion, better than Troy. And here's the thing about Troy. I think Troy is a great rebounding team. In fact, I believe for offensive rebounds, I think they rank in top 10. I think they're 10th in the nation for rebounds. But they're not a great shooting team. And I think that when it comes to a team that's a little more complete, I really do think the Cajuns are more complete than Troy. But I'm not a basketball guy. I don't know that for sure. I think still the cream of the crop, JMU and Appalachian State. It's pretty much their conference to lose right now. Dusty, do you agree with that?
I'm taking App State to claim the title. James Madison will finish third, Troy second, Cajuns fourth.
Yeah.
And as I said, Old Dominion, they're going to go on a run. I'm not saying
What about Old Dominion? What about Old Dominion that you like, Dusty?
It's just the magic of the powder blue.
Oh,
look, they have nothing to play for. They're 6-21. There's no way in hell they're going to any postseason tournament unless somehow hell freezes over and they go on this magic run in Pensacola. But they know their role. They know to play the spoiler role, and they're going to do that. Because what else do you have to play for other than when you beat these teams that you're not supposed to be hanging with late in the season?
So who do you think? Oh, all right. I'm going to name 3 teams, Shane. Who among these 3 do you think are the biggest potentials to be spoilers?
Spoilers? You mean down the stretch of the regular season?
Not this, but maybe in the tournament. And wait, does anybody not make the tournament? Did they kick out the last 2?
No, we're all in. One big happy family.
Okay, so I'm going to say tournament. ODU,
okay. I guess we're talking down the regular stretch of the regular season. I think Dusty's kind of onto something just because ODU is the team that gets 2 shots at App, and that would be the huge spoiler situation. And ODU is also a team where they're undersized. They're maybe not going to go at App State underneath, and so maybe they'll just shoot 53s in a game and make 20 of them, and I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if we're going with Dusty's theory here, he can't have it both ways though, because if ODU does play spoiler, then they're going to knock App down a peg. So we'll see what happens.
Everyone else loses.
But that's true.
All right. Well, all right. What about Coastal Carolina?
Dead.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What about Texas State?
Dead.
Okay. What about the Warhawks?
That was a big sigh. This is the same team that competes and just can't quite get over the hump. And then other games where I don't even know if the team got off the bus. They're just getting pounded. And you don't know which team is going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a night by night type of game that we're seeing from them. So what are they going to do down the stretch, Jeremy? I don't know.
2 teams that I think could show something: Georgia State and Southern Miss. Which one's most likely to show something?
Southern Miss.
Miss, because they're getting their guys back.
That's right. Yeah. Now they got dinged up. Yeah, a couple this weekend. I forget who they got dinged up against, but they got dinged up pretty good. But yeah, Carbello, is that his name? Yeah. He was back looking good. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, something I haven't actually written yet, but I talked to Keith Gill yesterday.
Wow.
And
Scoop. Breaking news from Shane. We got it. All right.
Just talked a little bit about, he's on the NCAA selection committee.
Oh, okay.
So I talked to him a little bit about, what he's allowed to do when it comes to lobbying for the Sun Belt as far as the NCAA selection committee goes. And he basically, he has to recuse himself when they're in actual deliberations. But before they get to that point, there will be information sheets and things coming from the Sun Belt. And, one thing they're going to point out is, hey, James Madison, their only quote unquote bad loss is to Southern Miss, but Southern Miss didn't have Andre Curbelo and some other guys. So it's they're on it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Southern Miss is kind of one of those teams that is probably of all the teams that won't finish necessarily in the top 4 or 5 of the conference, they're probably the one who has a chance to make a real run.
It'll be interesting to see these next 4 games who emerges as the dangerous Sun Belt tournament teams. So it'll be fun to watch. You guys checking out my Red Wolves by any chance? Have you been watching those guys?
Some. What?
Have you been watching my Red Wolves, Dusty? You been checking them out? No? 2 big road wins this weekend. I don't know if you saw that. Troy and then South Alabama. I don't know if you've been checking that out. Maybe you should. Yeah. Winners of 4 of the last 5.
On the women's side, Jeremy.
I don't want to talk about women's. No.
It's still all Marshall all the time, 13-1. I think that they are 2 games away from locking up the regular season title. Chanda got her Trojans back in the mix at 11-3 in second place. James Madison 10-4. Shane, is that a disappointing season for James Madison that they have 4 conference losses?
And they got those 2 big Russians. How's this working out?
They've only got 1. I know you keep coming up with extra Russians every time we talk about that.
Double all the time.
But I don't know if the record itself is that big of a disappointment. I think they probably expected 3 or 4 losses to be good enough to win the conference. I don't think anybody saw Marshall just running away with it like this. So, I mean, it's sort of disappointing who they've lost to some degree. Losing at home to Georgia State, getting swept by Georgia State, I think is something that sticks in Sean O'Regan's craw. But I don't know if the overall record is that surprising or super disappointing.
Jeremy, your Red Wolves, second-year head coach, Destiny Rogers, 6-8, 13-12 overall. Meeting expectations?
Not quite. But all right. Everybody has excuses, right? And right now, Izzy Higginbottom, she has a broken finger. So there's some problems with that. Lauren Pendleton, the reigning freshman of the year, is having some ankle problems. So the team isn't 100% healthy. But yes, the team could be playing a little bit better right now. But Dusty, let's talk about your Warhawks. Are
6th place right now.
Yeah,
with 4 games remaining.
Disappointing because they seemed the expectations were pretty high.
I said top 5.
Okay.
They're right on the cusp.
All right, they're getting there.
Living up. They have back-to-back home games. They get Southern Miss on a Thursday night, and then this weekend it is the hottest team in the belt, Marshall, coming to Fayette Coliseum before we get the gimme game next week against Arkansas State and closing out against Texas State.
Well played, sir. So let me ask you this before we move on from women's basketball. Who beat Marshall? Who's the one loss?
Who was their one loss?
It was JMU.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Well, the 2 big Russians must have come out. One big Russian. She's really good.
Yeah.
Was she like 6'8", 6'9"?
She's 6'4", but she's also hurt. She's also hurt right now. So that will make a big difference about whether or not JMU is a real contender to win in Pensacola, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, are we still trying to go to Pensacola? Is there enough money in the petty cash?
There's enough if you want to walk there that you can get some Slim Jims and a Sprite.
That's all the sustenance I need, brother. Yeah.
3 undefeated teams in baseball currently: South Alabama, Arkansas State, Old Dominion. They have not updated yet. I know, Jeremy. South Alabama, though, a perfect 4-0. Arkansas State, you said 4-0.
4-0.
I guess I'll believe you. Old Dominion still listed at 3-0. Marshall, the winless, the homeless, 0-4, Thundering Herd. When they get their facilities, I think it's going to give them the edge that they need to get that program up and going. But for right now, it's still rough days for Herd baseball.
Yeah, I think their stadium is opening, right? But it's been under snow recently.
Oh,
I wouldn't know what that is. We don't have that white stuff down here.
What is snow? All we get is rain and mud in Arkansas at this time of year. I'm surprised we even played 4 games. Usually at this time, we're postponing games left and right. But yeah, Arkansas State 4-0. We're happy.
Softball, no one's undefeated, no one's winless. James Madison 8-1, South Alabama 8-2, Troy 9-4. The Cajuns, who were the preseason favorites, sitting at 6-5 right now. Arkansas State, they're so bad they left them off the standings, Jeremy.
I know. It's like they haven't even shown up. It's almost like they don't have a program, Dusty.
So now we shift to plugs, promos, and parting shots. Shane, please give us a great parting shot.
I felt like I had one.
Come on, you got this, Shane.
Well, we were talking earlier. This isn't even much of a parting shot. It's just a conversation. But we were talking earlier about the great beers of the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
And our idea is to maybe do like a tasting episode at some point.
Yeah, a very sophisticated tasting episode.
So how many of you guys tried?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put this out there to our listeners to let us know. Hit us up on socials. Let us know which ones you like, which ones we should try, and where to get them. Because if we're going to try to do this tasting episode, there's a few within driving distance of each of us probably, but it's not like they're in our local grocery stores. So help us figure this out, because I think that sounds like a very good plan for each official beer of a Sunbelt school.
Shane, I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're asking our legions of fans to help us curate these beers for us.
Yeah, tell us what you like and tell us where to get them, because I know where to get the Proud and True JMU beer. I can pick up the ODU one here in a couple of weeks. I'll be down that way. I've had the Herd Lager. I really like that.
Yeah,
I'll have to pick it up next time I'm across the state line, but some of them are going to be a little bit more difficult for us to pick up, I think. So I'm asking for help.
Is there a Warhawks IPA?
Yeah.
I bet you have to go into a swamp, in one of those boats with a big fan on the back, and journey deep into the swamp areas with the alligators and the mosquitoes, and you find this wooden shack and there's some old man making the beer and he gives it to you.
Is this where I lay on the guilt trip of no? It's more World War II honoring of
oh God,
the Warhawks and General Chenault and everything he did to fight for our freedoms there, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I feel awful.
And I'm assuming since there's no alcohol in Jonesboro that there's
wait a second. Supposedly there is. I let me do some research on that, because
Jeremy runs it still.
That's right out of my car. Yeah. My brother used to make his own wine at Arkansas State in his dorm room. And,
no, that's just grapes that fell behind everything, Jeremy.
Oh God, it was terrible. It was from grapes, man. He smashed them in a big.
Was this toilet wine? Is this sort of
it was almost like toilet wine. It would give you a headache right behind your left eyeball, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm having an aneurysm. What is this?"
The Jonesboro State Penitentiary? Or?
It was. It was like prison wine.
So on that note, Shane, the beers, I've had two of them. I've had some Bobcat Lager and, of course, the Warhawk beer. Can't lie, I definitely love some Bobcat Lager. It was a pretty good beer. So looking forward to seeing what else we can get our hands on across the Sun Belt. My plug promo, a parting shot. I guess I'm done, guys. People don't like my opinions, and that was evident in DMs and emails to us. So
something about that. What was that?
I guess my days are just numbered on the show.
Shane and I have been talking offline, and we might have to have some hard decisions to make, Dusty.
Fantastic.
My parting shot is listen. All right, I think we mentioned this when we had our magic interview with Frank the Tank Fleming, which is not on the show. It's a separate. It's a bonus that you can find, that you can seek out. But Arkansas State and Troy are having their rematch on Thursday night, and it is the first nationally televised game for Arkansas State basketball since 1997. Arkansas State has a player on this team, Freddie Hicks Jr. His dad, Freddie Hicks, was a star player at Arkansas State in 1997, the last time the national media, a national broadcast came to Arkansas State. And at the time, I think that the crowd was about 7,000 people. The Convocation Center was rocking. It was a good time. And I implore everybody who is a fan of Arkansas State, who lives in Jonesboro and the surrounding area, come down to Bank Arena, Thursday night. Let's put on a big show for ESPNU. Let everybody see what kind of program that we have. We're going to have Frank there. We're going to have some other guys there. It's going to be a blackout. There's going to be all sorts of wacky hijinks. $22 tickets for bottom bowl. Even better, 2 for $22 tickets. So come on down. We're looking forward to seeing you. It should be a blast. We're going to kick Scott Cross's ass again.
Didn't Lafayette beat you to the whole blackout theme, though?
Oh, yeah, they always do.